What's happening, Karate Playbook team? Nick here. In today's video, we're covering one of my favorite motions of all time, the hook kick, or Ura Mawashigiri, because there's very few things like a slap in the face in sparring quite like a hook kick, because you're literally getting slapped in the face, but with someone's foot, which kind of sucks. We're gonna go over this really fast, talking about how to do it, what mistakes we see, and a couple ways we can train it to make it a little bit better, and we're getting started right now. Alright, so really fast, I'm going to try to break this down in a way that'll make it a little bit easier to understand. So if we take the name Ura Mawashigiri and we break it apart, we have Ura, which is back, and Mawashigiri, which is roundhouse kick. Now, a little bit easier way to think about it is more of a reverse roundhouse kick, because a round kick is going to be hitting on the extension with the top of the foot. A hook kick is going to be hitting on the recoil with the bottom of the foot. Now if we take this and we switch it around a little bit so we think about it with our arms, a roundhouse kick is kind of like a back fist, like this. So I point my knee, or my elbow in this case, at the target and my hand swings out. The same as a round kick, my knee points and my foot swings out this way. Alright, now a hook kick is, as you might have guessed it, the same or similar to a hook punch in boxing. So now, just like the hook punch, there's a couple different ways we can throw our hook kick, which we'll talk about. But with this, the whole idea is I'm throwing something that is going out, missing the target. So I'm bringing my hand outside, whether it be a wider hook or a closer hook. I'm going to bring my elbow out, and then it hooks around this way. One of the common mistakes in boxing with throwing a hook punch is you'll see them just rake this elbow through like this, and it really doesn't do much. All it'll do is kind of smack them a little bit and pull through this way. This is the same mistake that we see in a hook kick. So if I'm throwing my hook kick, we see this way here. There's really no way for me to use this effectively. So I need to make sure with my hook punch that my shoulder moves. With my kick, I need to make sure my hips move. So I go here and I pull this all the way through. Alright, now, again, like a hook punch, I can either rake this through or I can hit and pull back. So my hook kick, I can pull this all the way through, or I can touch and pull back, just depending on what my use for it is in that situation. Alright, so like I mentioned, we have a couple different ways we can throw this hook kick. So we can throw it with a straight leg this way, or I can throw it more like a side kick to start. Alright, so with the straight leg one, this is going to be for more of a close range, and it's going to be to slide up behind them and hit behind the head so that I don't see the knee chamber come up this way. We just need to be obviously very careful because we're at punching range. That's not normally the place we want to be for kicking. Alright, so the other one, if I throw this kick out like a side kick, I'm going to get a lot more range as long as I open my hips out. If I close them up this way, it's going to be very ineffective and I'll probably get knocked over, or at least, if nothing else, I'm just not going to hit with the kick. So I want to expand my hips and throw this kick out as long as possible this way. At the very end, I'm going to pull it through, opening my hips up even more until I'm basically in a round kick position. So to train this, all I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hand on this block here because we want to isolate the technique and not have to worry about balancing. So I'm going to bring this knee up, I'm going to push this out like a side kick, and then right here I'm going to open my hips up like this and pull it back like a round kick here. Alright, so I'm going to push this out, bring it through, bring it back to this knee chamber for a side kick. Push it out, pull it through, just like that. And you just have to practice this about like 3,000-4,000 times a day for the next couple of years, and it should be awesome by then. Alright, now the straight leg version is a little bit simpler. Now we're going to bring this leg up straight, and at the very end, I'm just going to bend my knee. Now, as I'm training this one, I can put something out in front of me. So I did a really fun drill with this for a roundhouse kick, which I'll link kind of up here somewhere in this general area if you want to check that out after this video. But I'm going to put this out in front of me. I'm going to bring my leg up straight, hook kick over it, and then come back to my normal position. So I'm going to lift this up, hook kick over the top, and then come back. And of course I can obviously use this where I touch or I push this out and rake this through. But I really like training this with going over the top of it because it makes you bend your knee at the very end. So it's not just doing this, all right? Because that obviously looks awkward, feels awkward, and it doesn't really work that well. All right, so as we do this, use a block or something that you can hold your balance with. Use a noodle or a belt, whatever you can put out in front of you, and maybe attach the belt to something and hang on to it. Hook kick over the top. Just make sure that we're expanding our hip and opening this area up here so I'm not closed up like this. All right, so take this drill, play around with it, toss any questions you might have down in the comment section, along with any video requests, or if you just want to say hi. I love to connect with everybody down there. Have an awesome time training. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you won't miss all of our upcoming stuff. Talk to you in the next video. All right, peace.